So there's no joke to open up today's pregame because I know a lot of Yankees fans are just not in the mood. But I've got a prediction that might make you happy. The Yankees are going to win Game 4. So obviously the series has not gone according to plan. Game 2 was the turning point. The minute that Aaron Boone and the front office, whoever made the decision, to take Deivi Garcia out, your young stud, and go with Jay Happ, who has been inconsistent at best. That's the moment that the series turned. They tried to play the Rays game. That was not the Yankees game. They tried to use a little bit of trickery when they had a commanding 1-0 lead in the series. And because it didn't work out, it shifted the momentum. And it affected your pitching staff for the last 2 nights. And now, the Yankees are in trouble. It's win or go home. It's do or die. How will they respond? The ripple effects can still be felt, but Jordan Montgomery has a chance tonight to sort of reset the series. If you win tonight, the series is tied, and the Yankees have the advantage in Game 5 because they'll have Garrett Cole on the mound. So, we'll see how it goes. But obviously, Game 2, if the Yankees lose this series, is going to be the game that everyone talks about going forward. So the Yankees have their backs up against the wall. Tonight is win or go home. And we've seen with some of those great Yankees teams of the past, even the ones that didn't win the World Series, but teams that went deep into the playoffs, they always responded when they had their backs up against the wall. Look at the 2017 team, down 0-2 to the Indians. And Game 2 of that series, if you remember, was particularly tough because there was that big grand slam. There was a challenge play that didn't work out, that actually didn't get challenged, that probably would have been overturned. It led to a grand slam from Francisco Lindor, and the Yankees ended up losing that game, but they turned the tide the next day with a great pitching performance from Masahiro Tanaka and one swing of the bat from Greg Bird, and that sort of set the momentum going. Started the ball rolling towards a giant comeback, and the Yankees won that series. And then they took the Astros 7 games. Will history repeat itself? We'll see. The Rays are clearly a better pitching staff than the Yankees right now. And they're beating the Yankees at their own game. They're slugging home runs. They're not doing it with singles and small ball. They're hitting the ball out of the ballpark. And part of that is because the Yankees have not been pitching well. But the Rays are just a good team. You got to give them credit. But the Yankees do have their backs up against the wall, and I think they're going to respond. Jordan Montgomery is a guy who, his numbers are not great, but his peripherals are pretty good. He has a low exit velocity against, and generally, he's got one of the best curveballs and chase rates in baseball. He hasn't pitched in a while, so he may not be sharp. We'll see. But last night was proof that a starting pitcher, Charlie Morton, who relies mostly on breaking pitches, can adjust after a long layoff. It's just going to take some focus. Jordan Montgomery is a guy who is tough to hit. He's got that really high release point. He's got a really sharp curveball that he buries in the dirt. It's going to be tough for the Rays to hit tonight, but the Rays do have the momentum. So if they can get Jordan Montgomery on the ropes early, they're probably going to win this series. And that's disappointing, but I feel like Jordan Montgomery is going to show up. Jordan Montgomery strikes me as a guy with ice water in his veins. So let's take a look at his numbers for the year. In 2020, Jordan Montgomery was 2-3. He posted a 5.11 ERA. Not great. He made 10 starts, 44 innings, 48 hits, 27 runs, 25 earned runs, just 7 home runs, just 9 walks, and 47 strikeouts. So Jordan Montgomery is a guy who's going to throw strikes for the most part. He's going to be around the plate. His home runs have typically come late in the game. He's also got burned a few times by inherited runners scoring. A lot of times Jordan Montgomery will pitch 5 or 5 1/3 really good innings. Then he runs out of gas really quickly, puts a couple of guys on base, and whoever they bring in as the next relief pitcher gives up a 3-run home run, and he gets charged with those runs. That's happened more than once this year. But Jordan Montgomery's been pretty solid a few times. Unfortunately for the Yankees, his worst start of the season came on September 2nd against these Tampa Bay Rays. at Yankee Stadium. 2/3 of an inning, 5 hits, 4 runs, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts, 2 home runs. So the Yankees are going to need him to step up. He's got to pitch with the season on the line. And in my opinion, I think he's got the talent to do it, and he's got the personality to not be affected by the weight of the game. But I could be wrong. I'm just a vlogger. We'll see. But, hey, fingers crossed. If the Yankees do lose this series, it will be a waste of one of the greatest postseason performances that I've ever seen, probably that's ever happened. Giancarlo Stanton has homered in 5 consecutive games. He's homered in every single game of the postseason. You can't ask for anything more of Giancarlo Stanton. In fact, I think every hit that he's had is a home run. I think he's got 6 home runs in 5 games this postseason. And that's amazing because he takes every regular season off. But, you know, he showed up for the postseason. I don't think we can drag Giancarlo Stanton through the mud anymore after this. You know, he may get injured, but he's really shown up in the postseason, and he's carried the Yankees offense. The rest of the lineup has not done much. Aaron Judge hasn't done anything. Gleyber Torres hasn't done anything. Luke Voit has gone silent. So, you know, right now it's been Giancarlo Stanton. And, you know, we have to recognize that he's really shown up in the postseason for the Yankees. His entire postseason career with the Yankees, he's been pretty clutch. So, shout out to Giancarlo. Win or lose, I feel like the Yankees need to evaluate some of their philosophies, some of their staff this winter. I know Brian Cashman's been the GM for the Yankees for 22 years, and I don't think he should get a pass. I think he needs to undergo some serious scrutiny because, I mean, he says it's a crapshoot every year. And even if you play craps, you expect to do better than 1 for 20, 1 for the last 20. 2009, the Yankees won the World Series, but really, since 2000, when their dynasty of the late 90s ended, they really have struggled to get back to that level. They haven't been the Yankees that we're accustomed to, or that history says they should be. And that's just not acceptable to Yankees fans. And so I feel like that needs to be evaluated. You know, I'm not sure that their approach is going to work in the postseason. Now, granted, home runs have been a pretty big indicator of success this postseason, and the Yankees are a home run hitting team. But it seems like the guys that they get that hit home runs don't hit good pitching in the postseason. So I feel like they need to put more of an emphasis on getting pitching, reliable pitching. The Rays have done really good with their relief staff. The Yankees really haven't. They've spent big on relievers, Chapman and Ottavino and guys like that. But, you know, how many young guys have they turned into great relievers? You know, how come they don't have a stable of guys throwing 97, 98 miles an hour with nasty hooks? So, you know, there's something the Yankees are missing. I can't put my finger on it, but it's up to the organization to figure it out. I just comment on it. Aaron Boone obviously won 100 games each of his first 2 years, but no one cares how many wins you get in the regular season. It's all about the postseason with the Yankees. And so far, they've only regressed backwards since he joined. The Yankees went to Game 7 of the of the American League Championship Series under Joe Girardi in 2017. They fire Joe Girardi to bring in Aaron Boone because Joe Girardi was too tough on Gary Sanchez. Well, now it looks like Gary Sanchez is headed out the door. He lost his starting job to Kyle Higashioka. And now you're stuck with a manager who can't win games during the postseason because he's too laid back. I don't care how many video games he plays with you in the clubhouse or how many times he stops by your locker to ask how you're doing. Your manager doesn't need to be your friend. Your manager needs to be your manager. Your manager needs to make the right moves to win ball games. Kevin Cash is a manager. And, yeah, it's just it's something the Yankees need to take a good, hard look at. I started this show, this pregame show and doing postgame shows back in March. And I had planned originally to do 162 games, obviously. Ended up doing, you know, probably 60, maybe 58 of them. I missed a couple of days due to busyness and such. But I've had a blast. Regardless of what happens tonight, if this ends up being the series finale of the game day show, the pregame show, I wanted to thank everybody who's been a part of this channel and has made this channel grow to almost 4,000 subscribers this year. Hopefully next year we can grow, you know, on past 10. I feel like we're getting big enough to the point that it's going to continue to grow as long as I keep putting out content. So to everybody who's supported the show, people who have bought swag, people who have commented, people who join the live streams, people who consistently comment and get involved, and people who pay me compliments and say nice things to encourage me and keep me going and keep me from getting discouraged with how slow it can be sometimes. I want to thank everybody for being a part of the show, and you can count on more content this winter. And I'll be back next year, regardless of what happens in tonight's game, with more content. And I don't know if it's going to remain in the exact same form. I do like the post-game streaming format. I think that's something that's going to stick around. I really like that. I do like doing watch parties. It's tough to do a 9-inning watch party, but 4 or 5 innings every now and then is really fun to do. And I'll do pre-games as often as I can. I'm looking to get more podcasts. I'm looking to add more people to the channel, more contributors. So if you've thought about being a YouTuber and you don't have the skill set to create all the production or the time or whatever, but you do like being on camera and have things to contribute, feel free to hit me up on Twitter and reach out and let me know what you can do. And I would love to have you be a part of the channel next year. So thanks to everybody who's been involved. Let's root for the Yankees tonight. I feel like Jordan Montgomery's going to step up. But if not, hey, it's baseball. It happens. We've lost before. We'll lose again. But we've also won before, and we'll win again. Thanks to all the fans. I'll see you after the game.
If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. It helps YouTube suggest this channel to other Yankees fans.